so beautiful, and I tell her every day.
Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm looking different now, but definitely no makeup, but that's because I'm not busy and I need to head to my friends and I need to get this review out. So we're on episode 8, and obviously as all episodes, it starts with a recap of episode 7. If you have not seen the review of episode 7, it's in the icon here. So we kind of open up with Bree and Vincent, hashtag Champagne Vinny, and he is talking about, so Bree asked him like, are you okay? And he's just like, no. And he's just like, he needed to clear his head. And when he said he was going home, I was just like, like, I don't understand if people don't realize how destabilizing that is to have like be in a relationship with someone and that person kind of just dips out. Like, what? Where they do that at? Like, my eyes look so small. And this one is red, and I actually do not know why, but you know what? We moved. So he said he made it as far as the car park, and then he came back, and I was just like, you know what this reminds me of? Like, I watched Real Housewives of Atlanta as well, and it's when Drew's husband said he went to Tampa to do what? Where were you going? So anyways, Brianna just kind of gathers him. They kind of slightly discuss the situation, and she's just like, I don't want you to ever feel like you're going. And when you said you're going home, like in my head, like this is home. So where are you going if this is not home to you? And then she was just like, listen, we're in a 2-bedroom apartment. Find the other bedroom. Like, if you that upset, go into the other bedroom, you cool off, and then you come back and we discuss this. We discuss this like adults, basically. And so then we have Fireball and Eric, and Fireball is dressing or packing to go to Charlotte. I think that's where she went. Her friend's wedding, and obviously Eric isn't coming, so she's packing, and she barely packs anything, and she's just like, she's not really gonna need anything. And I was just thinking, like, you know you won't need anything because you know you're going to drink. Let's be real. Fireball is trying to get into some shots. Like, she's trying to get into some shots. And they're discussing their marriage, and Eric keeps talking about how he's done this marriage thing before. Like, you are no expert. If you were an expert, you'll be able to find your own wife by yourself without the help of the experts, and your last marriage would have worked. Okay, probably that's not a good dissection of that concept, but you get the point. Like, you're no expert. Like, don't be out there making it seem like you know what's going on and she's just unaware of the world that's around her, even though I do think she's kind of airy-fairy, but that's neither here nor there. So he runs into Ryan, and they're kind of debriefing about how their marriages are going, and Ryan was just like, hello there, brother. And I'm just like, Ryan, first of all, who speaks like that? Like, oh, hello there, brother. Eric continues to say that, you know, when Fireball is working and he goes in to hug her or, you know, like have that type of physical affection with her, she gets annoyed. Eric, that's because she's busy. We're in the middle of a panorama. We're in the middle of a panorama. People are living together or with each other forever and ever. Amen. So if she's at work, like, just give her space to be in that space, because obviously you guys are strangers, and to just be up under her all the time because you don't got nothing to do. Go read a book, fix the garage, do something, clean the gutters, I don't know, do something. So anyways, we go into a scene with Basura, and if you don't know who Basura is, Basura on my channel is Chris, you know, because he's trash. So Basura is with Pastor Dwight and some other dude, and he's basically talking about his decision to leave Paige. He's talking about wanting to get a divorce from her, and you know what's funny? They flashed back to a scene where Pastor Dwight was talking to Basura about bringing past baggage into the relationship, because he was just like, make sure this thing is signed, sealed, and delivered. There's no past baggage coming into this marriage. The irony, the gag is there's more than baggage. This dude doesn't bring the whole baggage, the carry-on. He got a plane, he got a pilot, everything. And I'm just like, the irony, because like, how do we have a warning like that in the beginning, and turns out 2 days into the marriage, he has a baby on the way.
Have a baby by me, baby. Be a millionaire. Have a baby by me, baby. Be
like, listen, listening to his story, and I literally wrote down there's a difference between the way men communicate and women communicate. And I said that because Chris is saying all what he's saying. There is no facial expression on these guys' faces. They don't make up. They literally let him get everything out. And I swear, me and my girlfriends, or maybe even me, like, you will be telling me that story and I'll be like, wait, he said what? He did what? What do you mean by that? Like, I'll be asking for clarification as we go along. And I just thought that was really funny because the two men kind of just listened to him. And I was just like, yeah, men and women actually communicate very different. Because I was just like, I would have been asking questions straight through. Straight through. But anyways, Pastor Dwight told him about, you know, like, you're not committed. Like, you need to learn what commitment is. You need to know how to commit. And you need to stick to it because you did not come before me in your marriage. You went before God to make this commitment. But essentially, when Pastor Guy was speaking to them last episode, Pastor Dwight kind of echoed the same sentiments that Paige is all that.com. And Basura is crazy. Basura is muy loco because Paige is everything. And all these men are saying the same thing. Then, like Basura does, Basura does, Basura decides that he is going to get upset because the men don't agree with him. And I realized this is something he actually does throughout, like, since watching the season, every time he gets into a position where people don't agree with his actions, he blows up. Like, calm down. Calm down, Jamal.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
Calm down. What's wrong with you? Like, there's no need to be out here wailing out. Like, your behavior is your behavior. People are pulling you up on your behavior and analyzing you and telling you, like, this is not good. So that's just what it is. Like, there's no need to be all upset and vexed. And then he finished off the conversation with all due respect, I'm done with this conversation. And I was just like, ha ha ha, lol. So anyways, we're going to a scene where Haley meets her friend, and Haley basically gives her friend the rundown of what's been going on. And her friend was legit like, you sound like the only problem you have is the fact that his style is bad. Because she's just like, okay, so he likes the AT and his clothes is bad. Like, but what are the actual problems that you have? And she basically encourages Haley to, like, you know, make this work, because this is not something that you've done that only affects you. It affects him as well. So you need to put the effort into it. And I was just like, low-key, this episode was about the friends meeting the family. And I feel like a lot of the friends have some really good advice to give these people. I'm just like, these friends are all of that. I'm like, these friends are all of that. Like, there was some really good advice being given to everyone. But anyway, so yeah, Haley and her friend's scene was kind of a little dead. But Eric then meets up with his friend, and he described Fireball as a party girl and that she's very independent. And then obviously Father Eric started to talk about how he has to do this and how he has to tell her stuff because she doesn't know. And I'm just like, Eric, this trick is getting tired. Fireball is an adult. She can handle herself. Obviously, she was surviving before you came along. But then Fireball was just like, not Fireball, Eric was basically like, Fireball needs to decide if she wants to be the way she was before or that she wants to be with him. And he believes that, you know, she being in Charlotte is going to, like, the whole premise of her being in Charlotte, like the distance and are you gonna miss me and stuff like that, might actually be the downfall of their relationship. I don't even know if they're gonna stay together. I still don't know how I feel about them. I feel like Virginia, well, her actual name is Virginia, that's what we call her on our channel, we call her Fireball. But I feel like Virginia is probably gonna stay with Eric, but then eventually break up with him if they decide to stay together on decision day. But yeah, so then we get to Vincent meeting with his cousin or friend Jalen. Listen, Jalen had all the wisdom. All the wisdom. So Vincent speaks about, like, you know, the cultural differences in their ways of communication. And I've been telling you guys about these Latin men, these Spanish Caribbean people. lovely people, but you know, all Caribbean people have a tiki tiki boom boom in them. That is just interesting, should I say. So he's talking about, he explained to his friend about the situation, what happened with the pop champagne and it coming all over his chest or whatever. And he was telling his friend that he didn't appreciate the way she reacted, because she was just like, ooh, Vinny, that's so Vinny of you. And I was just like, this dude want to hear her say, see, papi, because he's looking for that. See, papi. See, like she. Oh, how do I say, what do you want to eat? ¿Qué quiero comer? Comer. ¿Qué quiere? ¿Qué quieres comer? Right? So I think that he wants her to be, you know, like that very sensual type of chick that is very like quiet and let me rush and make sure that your sweat doesn't hit the floor. But that's not who she is, and he needs to get over it. But his friend was basically like you can't expect her to act or react to something the way that you would react or act to something. So it's unfair, because the friend was proper like giggling, because he had looked so confused. He was just like, so that's what you were about to leave the house for, because the champagne fell on the floor. But you know what it was? Vincent is still incapable of describing what disrespect looks like for him, because the champagne dropping on the floor was not disrespect. But there are other things that she's done in a relationship that can be seen as disrespect. He just doesn't know how to verbalize those things. And until he gets to the point where he can verbalize those things, they will have a problem. But I still think it's something that they'll get over, because I think Brianna is very willing to, you know, adjust her attitude to ensure that Vincent is also happy. So the two of them need to just calm it, suave, and just, you know, walk on each other together. So then they end up, like, the scene goes into like group dates, and the men are together, the women are together. The only couple missing is Basura and Paige, and from either thingy. So, you know, Eric is talking about his usual, like, a fireball drinks a month. Ryan then chimes in and says that he believed that they have drinking wives. And I'm just like, Ryan just be lost in the sauce. Like, every time Ryan speaks, like, I feel like I zone out. Like, I feel like I zone out so quickly, and I just be like, my brain just can't process the information that he gives off, because it's just so slow. Like, I've been wanting to finish his damn sentences for him. Like, Ryan, speed it up. But so yeah, so Clara is now telling the girls, because we shift from Ryan saying that, you know, Clara probably drinks too much and he thought that there was a problem, and then it switches to Clara talking about the fact that she never seen her husband with his shirt off, and she never had sex with him. Oh, no, I don't think that was the shirt off part, but basically she never seen Ryan with his shirt off, and she never had sex with him. And Clara is basically like, I'm sexually frustrated at this point, as I assume she would be. But I'm just trying to figure out, how can they be married for so long? Well, it's not a long time in the grand scheme of things. But how can they be married for so long and she ain't never seen him naked? So where does he shower? Next door, and then come back home? Like, I don't get that. Like, that is so wild to me. And I could imagine that she's just so frustrated with it, because that would frustrate me. But she keeps alluding to the fact that they've done other things. So I'm just like, are they fully clothed when these other things are happening? Because what is that? Like, what is that? But you know what? We move, because I'm just like, could never be me. Could never be me. So anyways, Fireball gets back, and Eric is asking Fireball, did you miss me? And the way Virginia aired that question and went on to ask Eric if he had the bear for the friends coming over, I was just like, listen, should they miss you? But then it turns out that every 1 to 2 hours they're talking. Like, what? Like, I'm trying to think in my head, like, how do I talk to the guy that I'm talking to currently, like the guy that I'm dating? Like, how do we speak? Because in my head, like, every 1 to 2 hours, like, who has time to be attached to the hip to their phone like that every day? 1 to 2 hours. If you don't call me in the morning, text me throughout the day, and then call me at night. Like, I don't need the, like, who wants to be texting every 1 to 2 hours to what? Check in. Like, what do you think has changed in the space of time? But I was just like, okay, he needs to relax. Like, that's all I have next to Eric's name every time. Like, he needs to calm down. I think that Eric really wants this relationship to work, which is good. But I feel like under the guise of him wanting this relationship to work, he's becoming too rigid and too stiff. And it's gonna put Fireball off, because Fireball is very free. She wants to party. So yeah, she wants to party. She wants to have fun. And if he does not relax a bit, he's gonna lose her. She's gonna just get fed up because like, no one wants to date their father. Like, he needs to calm down a lot. We go to Paige and Basuda. Basuda calls Paige, and Paige is on the phone. Basuda wants Paige to meet the mother of his child. And Paige is just like, well, you know, I don't really know. I think I need to pray on it. I need to protect my peace. And, you know, all these things. And I'm like, Paige, honey, like, tell this dude no. He talking about clear the air. What air? Who said the air was foggy? Who said the air needed to be cleared? Like, what air are we clearing? That's all I'm thinking to myself. Like, what is the air? Because I am so ignorant that I can be in a situation, like, go and be with the mother of your kid. Like, the way I'd have been chucking up the deuces, saying, you know what, this is not for me. You know, this is probably a bit of me, but that is not for me, honey. And I'll be gone. He talking about clear the air. But anyways, Paige says she needs to pray about it, and we're just going to see what Paige's prayer tell her. So anyways, we get back to Jacob and Haley, and Jacob is telling Haley's friends that his exes were a lot of what? They were his exes were their special disaster. And I'm just like, not Jacob out here with the multiple women while he's out there eating green eggs and ham. Like, who are these women? But anywho's, Haley's friend then says they were their special disaster, or were you the problem? And I feel like that is a very question to ask. I feel to ask him, because I feel a lot of times when people talk about the bad things about their partners, they fail to realize that you also in this relationship. And if you don't recognize where you've gone wrong, if the failure of the relationship is always somebody else's fault, then it makes me question you, because what contribution did you add to this relationship? Like, the fault can't just be the other person. And I feel like for him to be of that age, because he is 38, and not realize that there are going to be problems on both ends is kind of questionable. And this is why he felt so comfortable to be out here accusing good Haley about having some boyfriend. And I'm just like, what boyfriend? The girl said she was single for 525,600 minutes. Like, she's been single for a minute. So I didn't understand that, but now it makes sense, because he believes that all of the demise of his relationships, his past relationships, was the woman's fault. But we need to unpack that. So anyways, we go back to Fireball at Eric's place, and they have their friends over, and Fireball is just like, oh, she's so scared, and she just hopes that, you know, like, Eric can understand that you know, like, her best guy friends don't want to date her. They didn't want to date her. They've never tried. So I wrote down, has anyone else noticed that when Virginia is in confessionals and sober, she's just like, she just shakes like she's going through withdrawal symptoms. And I'm just like, has no one else noticed that this is what she does? This is genuinely what she does. She just sits there and shakes. And I'm like, nobody else going to say anything? Like, what we're going to do is just ignore that this is happening? Like, we're not going to say, okay, cool. Because I don't understand what's up with the whole... What's on my face? I don't understand what's up with the whole I'm shaking while I'm trying to talk thing. Like, she has like something wrong with her nervous system. But anywho's, Virginia friends are telling like Eric that he needs to relax on being controlling, and that Virginia is actually invested in a relationship, invested in making it work. and he just hopes that Eric can just let Virginia come into herself in the relationship without it seeming like it's a forceful thing. Like, let her make that decision for herself. We get to Haley and Jacob, and Haley was going to meet Clara and Ryan because, you know, Clara's family friends or whatever was sick. I'm guessing they had like the panoramic virus or whatever. So she's just like, oh, she's gonna have a drink before she goes, and she's trying to force Jacob to drink with her, and I'm just like, Haley, why? Like, what? Like, why? But anyways, he does drink with her, and they kind of sat down and had an actual conversation, and I was just like, okay, this is nice because this is what they have not done. Everybody has been looking at each other and be like, oh, well, you're not doing this correctly, you're not doing this the way I want it to be done, blah, 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 blah. You're weird, I'm weird, we're all weird together. But they haven't sat and had conversations to understand each other. So I felt like this scene was really, really nice. It was really, really sweet. Turns out that Haley loved boats, and Jacob is like, he likes boats as well. And I was just like, hell, I like boats. I love boats. I want a yacht. In my future life, I want to own a yacht because I love boats. So Jacob says something about a Spartan race, and I was just like, what is that? And I forgot that I was supposed to Google what is a Spartan race because I have zero idea. But then he also spoke about axe throwing, and Haley was just like, I know, but like, what if you let go of the axe backward? And I was just like, I'm sure like you're in a controlled environment where the axe isn't just gonna, you know, like fly back on anybody. But I was just like, Haley, don't be boring, because I think like axe throwing, like the kind of aggression you could get out of yourself by throwing an axe, amazing. Like, I would have so much fun in that. Like, I like those destruction rooms. I like stuff like, I want to go in and beat stuff with a bat and throw axes and do crazy stuff like that. So then we get to Kara's and Ryan's situationship, because I don't know what this is right now, because they haven't consummated the marriage. She ain't never seen her husband from head to toe, bare in his birthday suit. So I don't know what they're doing. They're playing with each other. But in Kara's confessional, Kara basically described Ryan as being stiff, because Ryan keeps telling everybody he's old. Like, I'm so over him calling himself an old man, just like Clara is over him calling himself an old man. Like, I do not understand. Like, he needs to get over it. Stop saying that. And why are we here bartering with an adult about staying up later than 9 o'clock? You're an adult. Please do adult things. The body only needs 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So, what's the problem, Ryan? Like, I do not understand what his excuse is. I really don't get it. It's kind of annoying, to be honest, because I can see that Clara's light is dimming. Like, she's getting tired of it, as anyone would, because that is tiresome. Like, I don't get it. Like, he's not willing to open up. Like, he's so untrusting. And I'm just like, if you're so untrusting as an individual, why would you go on a show that lets you marry someone at first sight? Like, do you know how much trust you have to have in exports, much less you now have a whole wife and you're refusing to open up to her? How do you guys expect to build? How, Ryan? So then we go to Bree and Vincent, and you know, to be fair, this whole episode was kind of dead. I'm not gonna lie, the episode was boring. I paused it like maybe 10 times. I did laundry, washed the dishes, made breakfast. I could not. But Bree and Vincent's like family mixture together was like so cute. Like, I enjoyed that scene thoroughly. So when the scene opened up with his family coming and her family arriving, Vincent is holding on to a pole that is in the house, and I just creased, because I'm just like, why is Vincent hiding behind the pole? This is why people say body language is 75% of your communication, because you could visibly see by his body language that he is scared. And I'm just like, Vincent, what's wrong? He's like, like holding onto the pole, just like hiding behind. I'm just like, like relax. So Vincent's mom is a bit quiet, but it then turns out that she doesn't really speak English that well. But you could see that Brianna was trying to say like things in Spanish, and she was practicing. So she was like, "Como se dice?" He listens in Espanol. And I was just like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. That is very cute. And you know that they had this game and they did like who knows who the best and stuff like that. And mommy had started to relax. As in, when I say mommy, I mean like Vincent's mom. And there was a question where they were asking like, what's Vincent and Brianna's favorite snack individually? And Vincent was like, oh, let me translate. And he's like, a snacky. I was just like, with the Spanglish. The Spanglish just came out because everybody know a little bit of Spanglish. Like, everyone does. So, I wrote down that I love multicultural and racial relationships where people actually integrate into each other, like literally merge and melt into each other and create their own little thing. Because literally you could see that her family and his family really came together and they seemed to like each other. So, and at the end, like Vincent was very much like, or his brother I think was very much like, you know, like Vincent's mom like likes Brianna and stuff like that, which I thought was so good because their dream location or dream destination for holiday is Africa, Vincent and Brie. And then his his mother was just like, she wants to go to Europe. And then Brianna was like, we'll go to Europe, mama. And I was just like, I love it. I love stuff like that. Now to the last scene that just made me want to just stop watching this episode. Basura and Paige. Paige comes in her jeans looking all, you know, put together. And then the mother of Basura's child comes in. She's there with her bodycon looking all cute. I hate the way she speaks. Let's just say that. And I'm not going to comment any further on that. Like, she sounds like she has water in her mouth when she's talking. And I cannot stand the sound of that. So anyways, then Chris comes in. And you know, they're talking. And Paige is just looking at them. Them looking at Paige. And Paige is like, is no one going to speak? So Paige then breaks the ice. And she's just like, how are you feeling? And you know, they just go through the discussion of like, well, when did you find out? How far along are you? And the girl was just like, and I was just like, girl, you just found out you're pregnant. You know how far along you are. Please don't be out here pretending like you're guessing. And if you're guessing, it makes me question, are you pregnant? But whatever. So, she said 7 weeks, which makes sense based on how the show has showed it to us and them finding out that she was 6 weeks pregnant when they were in Las Vegas. So, it kind of makes sense. So, Chris I don't understand what kind of man he is. Chris just sits down there and is watching these two women talk to each other. Not they weren't angry with each other or anything like that, but I'm just like, Chris, this is your situation. You handle this situation. You want to clear the air? So then clear the air. Get to talking. So anyways, let me even read this because I want to touch on everything. So anyways, Paige then tells Mercedes that she had a pregnancy scare. So she was like, oh, like, for who? Mercedes was like, for who? She was like, for Chris. And Mercedes basically got whiplash because she was just like she looked at Basura like she almost had she had a pregnancy scare for you. Like, we could have been sister wives, sister moms in this. And I was just like, oh, she didn't see that coming. But I don't know what she thought would happen. Like, this is this man's wife. As bad and as turbulent as the relationship is, Paige is Chris's wife. You are the mother of his kids. Like, he's gonna have sex with his wife. Like, I don't understand why that was so surprising to her. And then she was like, okay. So then Mercedes asks Basura, like, did he know that Paige had a pregnancy scare? He's just like, And I was just like, Chris, when you're doing your nonsense, you're not that silent. Please use your words, open your mouth and talk. And use your words properly. Don't be out here, like, what's wrong with you? Are you in pain? he just annoys me when he doesn't want to open his mouth properly and speak. Like, it just gets on my nerves. Like, talk, use your English language, please. Use your words and speak. Gets on my nerves. Just, ugh. So then Paige continues on to say stuff like, you know, that she's not like upset with Mercedes or anything like this, but she's just like, this has nothing to do with your situation, but everything to do with my marriage. I was like, Paige, come through and tell her, because what they're doing, I don't know. I don't know where Paige got these smart revolves from, but listen, I was here for it. Paige was just like, what you have is a situation and what I have is a marriage. I was like, yes, Paige, tell them. So then Paige basically eventually says, in not these words, but that she says basically that Basura is not a man, and that he basically doesn't know how to make commitments. He hasn't stuck up for any, he has not uphold any of the vows that he's given her, and basically said like, you're no man for that, like you're not a man. And she basically was saying that, you know, she's tired of this, she's done with this. But then Chris then decides to get upset, and I say Chris is upset because he didn't expect the girls to have that nice, like such a nice repertoire. So he's just like, whatever. And Mercedes is like, it's not cute. And he's just like, I'm not trying to be cute. Because he's just like, oh, he can't wait to go home to eat dinner and watch sports. And I'm just like, so why did you come to clear the air? Because you could have watched sports and nobody have to clear the air. So I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. And then Chris was just like, he's irritated. Mercedes was just like, you're always irritated. And you could tell that she left Chris for the exact same things that he's doing to Paige. Like the exact same things. Like, it's like same script, different cast. That's it. I'm just like, what else? So then he's just like, I feel like so then Paige says, I feel like I've ruffled some feathers. And she's doing this as she applies her Vaseline. I was like, okay. She was just like, well, I have my Fenty Balm. But she's just like, I feel like I've ruffled some feathers. I'm just like, Paige is out here. Paige intentionally came the way she came. Do I support her coming like that? Yes. Do I think she should have just left his ass a while ago? Yes. She should have done packed up her stuff. She was supposed to be in her house just watching the reruns of some other show, Grey's Anatomy. Because everyone watches the reruns of Grey's Anatomy. But she should have just been at home watching the reruns of Grey's Anatomy and just waiting for decision day. She could tell them, like, no, this marriage cannot continue. So then Chris gets upset, stands up and says, I think that this has been an amazing convo. And I was literally like, LOL. And then he left, and, you know, they just sat there and talk a bit more. Just, you know, like, girl, you know, like, it's not against you or whatever. But they hugged it out and then they left. And then we go into the previews of what's happening next episode. I see that Paige actually met up with him, but she walked off on him. And I was just like, okay, let's see if this next episode is actually gonna be more drama filled or interesting, should I say. Not drama filled, but, you know, like interesting, because I feel like this episode was kind of dead. But nonetheless, I will see you guys in my next video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you have not seen my episode 7 review. It's here in the iCards. My last video on my channel was me making some saltfish fritters or cod fritters here in the iCards. And I will see you in my next video.
Thank you
Bye.
guys so much for watching. And if you're rocking with my content and rocking with this look, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. If you love to see me create any makeup look and speak about any topic, just leave your suggestions in the comment section down below, and I'll be definitely picking those up. And remember, stay beautiful inside and out.